to get you. Don't let them brand you with their mark. Piracy funds organised crime and will destroy our film and video industry. Piracy costs jobs and will destroy our music and publishing industry. Piracy funds terrorism and will destroy our development and your future enjoyment. Don't touch the hot stuff. Cool is copyright. Copyright is a matter of fact.
Okay, so today it's a little bit of a hardware kind of day. It's another bit of odd hardware which I come across completely by accident. I found this. It's quite small, plugs into the cassette port of a Commodore 64, and what it does, it enables you to copy from one data set to another directly. Really simple. I mean, copying probably didn't, wasn't one of those things that was looked nicely upon in the time. In fact, I think it was really frowned upon. But making backups of your own software wasn't a bad idea. But with the Commodore 64, it was a digital tape deck, and that made copying tapes a little bit more difficult because the tone and volume controls, copying it from a normal cassette deck to another, tended not to work very well. But this works every time. And it's quite a neat little device. I mean, if you wanted to copy stuff across these days, it's a brilliant little device. But with digital cassette decks such as these, okay, I'm not so sure if it really has a place, but it's a nice little thing to have. And if you do have cassette tapes and you are one of these people who want to use cassette tapes a lot, it's quite nice to have a backup, especially when a lot of these tapes are 35, 38 years old. Okay, so we're just going to have a quick look at it and see how it works. And just to let you know that it copies them fantastically well. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this. Now here's a strange device which you probably haven't seen before on a Commodore 64, and it's this. And if you look closely, it says play and record, and it's kind of a very odd thing to find. I discovered it by accident. I've never seen one of these before, and it's good that I haven't seen stuff that's been out there for 30 years because it keeps things interesting. But what it does, it allows you to connect one Commodore dataset to another Commodore dataset, and what it does is it allows you to actually play and then record on the other one. As you can see, the motor's turning. So basically you can copy directly from one cassette to another using your Commodore 64, and it's one of the strangest little things I've ever seen. You don't even need to do anything on the 64 itself. See, blank screen, it's just powered on, and then that's it. All you do is you just load as normal. So if you want to ship and stop, it automatically starts to tape off. And then with this one being in record, as you see there, it automatically starts to tape off. And if it doesn't find a program, which is blank, stopped, okay, it will actually put in the pauses as well. So it'll put all the pauses in on the cassette tape as it should do, and it will do a direct copy from tape to tape. There you go. See, it hasn't found program. So it stopped the tape and stopped the tape. So it's under direct control from your Commodore 64, which is quite a neat little thing. Not so sure how the copyright people would feel, but it's quite a neat little device. Okay, as you can see, it works. It works really well. It allows you to copy from tape to tape and make up backups of your own software, which is a really good idea, especially when cassette tapes and games, etc., cost quite a lot of money at the time. But whether or not it's got a massive use today is another thing. But if you do want to make copies of your cassettes, and then you maybe want to, you know, convert those cassettes into digital files so you can use it on one of these, or, you know, if you just want to preserve them, then this thing is ideal. I don't know how you would get hold of one though, because I'd certainly never seen one of these before, and it's not something that turns up very often. But as I say, have a look, have a hunt around. If you can find one, grab it, because it's quite a useful thing to do if you want to preserve your tapes. And also, you know, there's not many around, if in fact any. So I was quite lucky to get hold of this. There's one other thought, is that it was quite an expensive way of copying cassettes, mainly because you needed 2 data sets, and they were quite expensive at the time. You see, you're roughly talking about £100 at the time, which is probably equivalent to about £350 to £400 now, roughly, to have 2 data sets connected to your Commodore 64. Yeah, thinking about it, it's probably not the best way or the most cost-effective way to copy cassettes when you're spending the equivalent to £400 to make backups of your tapes. So you'd have to be very, very dedicated to buy this. But, you know, it's just a thought. Okay, you can see why the dual tape drives that Amstrad produced at the time were very, very popular for trying to copy your tape. Even if 1 in 3 worked first time, it was probably more cost effective than using one of these tape to tape devices for a Commodore 64. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this short hardware video, which goes through forgotten hardware for the micro era, for every micro from 8-bit onwards, and hopefully we'll be covering a little bit more in the near future. Okay, thanks for your time, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. If you like it, subscribe, and I hope to see you on this channel again very shortly. Thank you. Bye bye.